Lillian is a diva. That's the best way to describe her. We have called her the princess since the day she was born, and she has lived up to that name to no end. She is a girly girl. She loves all things makeup, sparkles, unicorns, rainbows. Pink. Her favorite artist is Jojo, and I mean, I can't, big bows and rainbows is just her whole life. She loves anything to do with girls. She's a diva. She's got an attitude. She knows, she's a girl who knows what she wants, and she doesn't really take anything less. But she's so fun. I mean, she definitely has, it's funny that she loves sparkles because she's been a sparkle since, she came into this world fighting. It's a long labor, and she's been fighting ever since, so I should have known.
I am the church, you are the church, we are the church together. All follow Jesus all around the world. Yes, we're the church together.
Hi, I'm Alyssa.
And I'm Nate.
Our journey actually started around Thanksgiving of last year, 2018. We were sitting around the Thanksgiving table, and Lillian was complaining of some neck pain, and we noticed her lymph nodes were swollen. So the next day we took her into urgent care, and they said that they did a strep test. It came back negative. They thought she had a virus, so they sent us home. About 3 or 4 days later, she had spiked a fever a couple of times, and so we took her back into urgent care. At that time, they did a strep test again. It came back negative. They weren't sure what it was, but they sent us home on an antibiotic. They told us to run the course of the antibiotic and then follow up with our primary physician. So we ran the course of the antibiotic, and Lillian seemed to be getting better. She seemed to be kind of back to her old self a little bit, so we thought, well, great, we found out what was wrong. About 3 or 4 days after the antibiotic ran its course, Lillian was starting to be a little lethargic, very tired, really just wasn't acting like herself. She just really wasn't the same. So I made an appointment with a pediatrician, took her in. They ran every test, a mono test, a strep test. They ended up doing a blood panel on her. At that point, the blood panel was a little abnormal, but nothing that they were concerned about. The doctor sent us home, said take pictures of her lymph nodes every single day. We'll follow up in a week. So a week later, Nate and I took Lillian in to see the pediatrician again. Her lymph nodes were still really big. At that point, she didn't even really have a neck. Her lymph nodes were that large. So the pediatrician looked at it again, ran another blood panel, and her blood came back abnormal this time. That very next day, we went down to Children's in Minneapolis and met with an oncologist and an ENT doctor. At that point, they decided that they wanted to remove 2 of the largest lymph nodes to do some tests on them and see kind of what exactly was going on. At that point, they didn't really think it was anything to be concerned about, but they wanted to at least do the pathology. So on December 27th, we went back down to Children's in St. Paul this time, and they took the 2 largest lymph nodes. Everything was a pretty routine surgery. We went home that night. The ENT doctor said, you'll hear from us probably in 3 to 5 business days once the pathology comes back. Now, mind you, this is around Christmas and New Year's, so we didn't actually hear back until after New Year's, and I was actually grocery shopping, and I got a call from the oncologist. He said that the pathology had come back abnormal, and they weren't sure if it was lymphoma or leukemia, but they needed her to come down for a bone marrow biopsy. So on January 7th, we went down to Children's in Minneapolis this time, and they did a bone marrow biopsy. We were there for just a couple of hours, and by the time we were getting ready to leave, the oncologist came in and said, preliminary has come back from pathology. It looks like leukemia. On January 11th, we went back down to Children's in Minneapolis for Lillian to start her treatment. We were admitted into the hospital at that point for 4 days, just for us to get education and for Lillian to get her first 2 treatments and for them to do some observations, just to see how she was going to react with the chemotherapy. She did well. She's a fighter, has been since the day she was born. Now we just started the second phase of her treatment, which is called consolidation. So every Friday now we go down to Minneapolis and she has a lumbar puncture and chemo put into her back. That phase of the treatment will be 4 weeks, and then we start the next phase, and there's about 6 phases before she's on maintenance and they're considered in full remission. We're just really excited that she's the little Indy warrior, just because since the beginning we've been calling her the warrior princess, so it kind of seemed fitting, but she is a warrior. I mean, Lillian hasn't let this slow her down, not for a minute. She actually just returned to school today, came home and was excited as ever. She's just been, I mean, really, she has fought this from the very beginning. It just really never seemed like a question to her. She knew her blood was sick and we had to do something. So she's been a trooper. She goes in, you know, they access her port. She doesn't jump, she doesn't, nothing. She wants to see the needles, she wants to see it all. And she's amazing. I mean, I don't know as an adult if I could be as courageous as she has been. So we're super proud of her.